Okay, welcome back to WA Sports, where we are watching and analyzing sports. Obviously, yesterday we just finished up the NBA Finals Game 6. What more can I tell you? Like I said, the Milwaukee Bucks are going to win this series in 6 games. Excuse me one second. Check this volume right quick. Seem to be hearing a little bit of an echo. Okay, so yeah, this series got wrapped up in 6 at Milwaukee Bucks. We had our man Giannis drop 50 points on the Phoenix Suns to ensure that victory. Um, yeah, I mean, I've called this finals pretty boring, but that in itself is pretty exciting. He also did it in a triple double, pulling down about 10 rebounds. Let me make sure I got his stats right. I got it here. Yeah, the man had 14 rebounds. It wasn't a triple double, excuse me. 14 rebounds, two assists, excuse me. He had 10 defensive rebounds and 4 offensive rebounds, all of which that counted. Disregard, he did not have a triple double. That's fake news. But yeah, Giannis had himself a night with his 50 points. That was amazing to see. But yeah, we got to see Chris Paul make it to the finals for the first time. And unfortunately, like I've been saying, he came up short with his Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns and Chris Paul and Devin Booker, unfortunately, will not make it to the finals ever again, in my opinion, not that team. We're going to touch on that a little bit to see what they can do to possibly get them as close as possible, maybe to another Western Conference Finals, like we've seen the Phoenix Suns do with Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire and Sean Merriam and those boys. So maybe there's a piece that they can add to at least get them back to the Western Conference Finals, thus giving you a chance. That's all you can ask for, right? So yeah, so we're going to touch on that a little bit later, but let's go into the first question about my man Giannis dropping 50 on him. I mean, that is just amazing, right? So of course, is Giannis the best player in the NBA? Many of you would say yes. And in this very moment, who could disagree, right? We've seen him literally dominate, his opponent on the other end. And especially that follow up from him this postseason to what he was last postseason, where we've seen Miami just lock him up or pretty much just keep him out of the paint. We've seen Giannis literally just dominate the paint, and we haven't seen anyone do that since LeBron, so to speak. I know some are saying since Shaq, but I think in the last live stream we said since LeBron, we haven't really seen anybody have that kind of ferocious and tenacity within the paint. I mean, is Giannis truly the best player in the league? I mean, let's really analyze that. Does he have a shot? Uh, Most people would say Giannis' shot is decent at best. Definitely is an area of his game that he needs to work on. We've seen LeBron definitely come back summer after summer, improving his shot, improving that little knee up fadeaway shot. Giannis is capable of doing that same thing. I believe this guy is a workhorse. I believe he stays in the gym, and that we are pretty optimistic on here on Wild Sports about Giannis actually improving his shooting. He did actually improve it, I would say, over the last couple of years, at least taking the shots. We haven't seen him be like Ben Simmons at all, where he won't even shoot the ball. Giannis actually shoots the ball, but he plays the way the game is supposed to be played, meaning he takes high percentage shots, definitely in the paint, and he has a great arsenal, great tool set. He's very, very crafty in the paint. He's hard to kind of guard, and we've seen that last night with our boy Aiden, who literally just got tore up in the paint by our man Giannis. So yeah, so is he the best player in the league? Well, let's not forget. Let's not have a, um, a short-term memory here. Even though those guys aren't playing, remember we still got Kawhi in the league who can play on both ends of the floor just like Giannis, and I would say is a better shooter than Giannis. His worst ability is his inability to be on the floor for a long period of time due to injury. So Kawhi is an argument for some. LeBron is on the tail end of his career, but I don't think many other than Chris Paul has the kind of court vision that LeBron James has. He can run the point forward pretty much better than anyone. I'm not that high on Luka Doncic being there yet, only because I don't see the work that he puts in outside of the game, meaning is he in the gym? Is he throwing up shots? I don't want to make it seem like he isn't doing that, but does he do it to the level of some of these greats like a LeBron James? Yet that has yet to be seen. We've even heard reports that Luka doesn't really do that. But nevertheless, the court vision that LeBron has, sorry to go off on a tangent, but the court vision that LeBron has, some would still say that LeBron is still the best player in the game. We just unfortunately seen him have a first round exit due to the hand of the Phoenix Suns. But then let's go on the other side. We also have Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was phenomenal. Even though the Bucks closed him out, that man dropped 45 like it was nothing, and he had no other assistance, no other help. So clearly he can do what Giannis did, but he can play both inside and outside. If I had to be a betting man, I would say that Kevin Durant at this point is the best player in the league. But in order to be the best player in the league, that comes with lofty expectations. And we just seen Giannis fulfill those expectations by winning his first NBA title. Nothing to take away from Kevin Durant. He obviously has 2 titles, but most will take that, put an asterisk next to that because he did get those 2 titles with the Golden State Warriors, playing with that loaded super team. Speaking of the Golden State Warriors, as far as best players go, my man, Steph Curry. Steph Curry be cooking in the pot. Steph Curry is one of the, I mean, if not the best shooter in the league, but he's also just, what we see from him this season was an MVP performance without zero help. I mean, Steph Curry was out there doing his thing. So is Giannis really the best player in the league? I think one day after the finals, yes, we could say yes. And I wouldn't have a problem with anyone saying yes. But overall, I would give that to Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is still the most unstoppable piece on the NBA board. Then I think it's a toss up between LeBron and Giannis, only because LeBron, again, is on the down end of his career, while Giannis is pretty much hitting or in his prime. I give Luka Doncic a little, a mention because there's a chance that he could ascend to that level as well, but that has yet to be seen. We see his scoring ability. We see he can kind of do it all, just like LeBron did. Also, an honorable mention I would give is our boy Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard, I think, also had an MVP type season last season. He played really well. He shot the ball really well. Damian Lillard is one of those guys who catches fire, and it's hard to stop. And we've seen Dame drop plenty of points in the playoffs. Just hasn't had the same team around him that like a Giannis has had for the last 2 or 3 seasons. But I'm going to touch on Dame Lillard in another video because I think what we're seeing from Giannis, Dame Lillard can actually learn a lot from and learn and mirror. The whole Portland organization can learn a lot from the Milwaukee Bucks and figure out how they want to go forward with their this off season, excuse me, and how they want to build and craft their team and maybe try to build up a team that can be formidable. Unfortunately, for the Portland Trailblazers, they do play in the West. And fortunately for the Milwaukee Bucks, they do play in the East, which seems to be a lot easier or hit with a lot more injuries. I mean, the stars in the East, like the Embiid, like Kevin Durant, like James Harden now, like Kyrie Irving, those stars seem to get hurt a lot, and that kind of makes the East can be a cakewalk for the most healthiest team. I mean, look, we saw a team like Atlanta kind of make it through pretty easily, and yeah, some believe that they had a shot, So yeah, so the East is a little easier due to those guys getting a lot more injury prone, but we'll see how things shake up during the free agency period. But let's go on to the next question. So yeah, next question would be, so yeah, should CP3, should Chris Paul stay in Phoenix or should he join the LA Lakers? Chris Paul, Chris Paul. Some would say I have been plenty hard on Chris Paul. Chris Paul, I believe, should actually stay in Phoenix. I know this is a prize. I know the banana boat. We're actually going to do a video on that, on Chris Paul and what it would look like if he was to join the Lakers. But I actually think he's in a better position with the Phoenix Suns, with Monty Williams. Monty Williams seems to get the best out of Chris Paul. And if I don't see Frank Vogel, we've seen when he looked with point guards playing under Frank Vogel, what they look like. I mean, Rondo was able to do his thing, but that was off the bench. And we know Rondo doesn't really mesh well with coaches. but this isn't about him. Rondo's a great player. Yeah, I think the best thing for Chris Paul is to actually stay with the Phoenix Suns, and Phoenix needs to really rework that lineup. Um, I don't think teaming up with LeBron, or let me touch on this a little bit, with Chris Paul teaming up with LeBron and possibly Melo coming over. LeBron is a very cerebral, not only is he a cerebral player, he's also a cerebral guy on the off-season side of the game. LeBron picks and chooses guys who are in their prime to play with to give himself the best chance of winning a title. Why does he do that? Going back to the same reason of what we've seen in the East before. Guys get hurt. Usually older players get hurt. That was the problem that Chris Paul had, when he was with the Clippers. That was the problem that Chris Paul had when he was with Houston. He had his shot, but he always got hurt. Why would LeBron want to bring in an older Chris Paul, who, though, let's give him his credit, he played 70 games with the OKC Thunder, and he played 70 games this season with the Phoenix Suns, but he never played this late into the season, playing all the way to the NBA Finals, playing 6 games. So Chris Paul easily has played another 20 games, a 90-game season. Who knows what his health is going to look like? Excuse me. Who knows what his health is going to look like going forward into the following season? So I don't think LeBron is actually in line with getting Chris Paul to team up with him. And a guy like Melo, we'll see what Melo decides to do. He's, been known to just kind of do his own thing, but he is later in his career. This is, older Melo who may be chasing a ring himself. Now, that's my take on that. These guys could very well just, say, the hell with it, Wild Sports, we're getting together, we're joining together, and we're going to put this team together. Sort of like the Lakers did when they put Karl Malone on that team, and who else they had? They had Karl Malone and Shaq and Kobe and all those guys got together who were later in their primes and got together, and they did make it to the finals. So we could see the Lakers pull off a kind of lineup like that. That is a possibility. I want to be honest. I'm very honest here on Watch Sport that those things are possible, but my opinion is that it's not likely because, again, LeBron is a very cerebral player. LeBron plays chess on the off season, especially when he comes to choosing teams and choosing where to go. He played very well. He has Anthony Davis now, right? Even though Anthony Davis is too, you can kind of break down my point that I'm making that Anthony Davis is a bit injury hurt. But LeBron knew that getting an Anthony Davis who was in his prime and sort of depending on that young guy in his prime to be there, you know, that's what LeBron kind of more so goes after. And they just kind of put some veterans around him with Dwight Howard, with Rondo, and all this other stuff, who happen to be, for the most part, relatively healthy guys, who don't miss a lot of time. I know Dwight has had a little bit of injuries in the past, but, that was a more major injury. Overall, these guys seem to be pretty healthy and pretty much are able to be there. And we've seen the Lakers win last year while he had, for the most part, some younger players. So we've seen the Lakers this year kind of get older players and how that looked for the Lakers. They look old. They look like they couldn't really. I mean, a Marc Gasol, that did nothing for them. They had a young Drummond, but they got Drummond a little too late. I don't even think they bring Drummond back. But nevertheless, this isn't about the Lakers. So yeah, does Phoenix, excuse me, should should CP3, should Chris Paul stay in Phoenix or should he join the Lakers? My vote for you, Chris Paul, is that you stay your butt right there in Phoenix and you work that with the owners and you work that out with Monty Williams. You guys try to figure this lineup out because yes, although I do think you guys overachieved, who knows what next year may bring. I think if you guys can again bring in maybe some solid pieces, there's a chance for you. At least you'll be playoff bound. Let's put it like that. You'll be playoff bound. You can very well be a fourth or fifth seed next year. So yeah, stay with the Phoenix Suns. See how it works out. I think if they're willing to pay you as well, get some money, man. Get some money at this stage. Finish your career at 40 and right off into the sun on TNT with Charles Barkley, because that's what I said is the best thing that you can, that's why I see it headed for you, Chris Paul. Your career is gonna go like Charles Barkley, and that's not a bad thing, man. Charles Barkley was a great player. He's one of the top 50 players. Chris Paul, you two will probably be one of the top 50 players. And yeah, you'll go on and be, have a personality. Keep doing those State Farm commercials, brother, because we enjoy you. and we'll probably see you as an analyst, if not as a coach like Jason Kidd. So yeah, Chris Paul, stay with Phoenix and finish your career there. So yeah, let's go into the next question. So speaking of the Phoenix Suns, what else can the Suns do to improve this roster, which is something that I just touched on? Oh man, what can they do? So clearly, I think the hole on this team is the bench. I don't think they got much out of their bench. Their bench production, everyone was high on campaign at the beginning of the playoffs, but yeah, when you make it deep into the playoffs, you need veterans off the bench. We've seen that from the Bucks. They had a veteran player. I know some people call him a no name, but Bobby Porter shows up major for the Bucks. He's a veteran guy. He's a journeyman in the NBA, and shout out to him. Look at what he was able to do coming off the bench for the Bucks. Also, a guy like PJ Tucker, they brought him in. PJ Tucker's been around for a long time, scrappy dude, played overseas, as we all know, and bringing that guy in, putting him in the lineup. He was actually supposed to come off the bench because DiVincenzo got hurt, but he worked well as a utility guy who can either start for them, come off the bench, great role player who gives you defense and 3-pointers. I mean, this is what Phoenix needs on this very young team is they need help off the bench. They need to bolster that bench up, find some guys off the bench. I'm trying to think what names will come to mind. I'm not. Oh, who can they get off the bench to help them out? I'm not sure. I mean, damn, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure right now who they can get off their bench to kind of help them out. I guess a guy like Melo, hey, do the banana split and and come on over and join Chris Paul. Excuse me, and play off the bench for the Phoenix Suns. Maybe that might be something that Melo wants to do. He played in a small market this year or last year, the last 2 years with the Phoenix Suns. I mean, excuse me, with the Portland Trailblazers. So maybe he might come to another small market. He's friends with Chris Paul as well. As we know, the Banana Boat team. LeBron seems to want to do his own thing. Again, LeBron doesn't really get a lot of older players to sign on. He actually really likes to get younger guys in their prime. Hold on, guys. Looks like we got somebody ready to come on in. It looks like we got man. Let me add him to the screen. Give me a second. Money Mac, can you hear me? 1, 2, 3, brother.
Yes, brother, I can hear you. What's
One,
going
two,
on?
three. Good, 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 man. I was ripping through some of these questions that I had, man. I was ripping through some of these questions that I had. Obviously, we've seen game 6 take place. The Bucks being victorious, handling business, which is what we thought they would be doing. You know what I mean? Can I say more? I'll just pitch the questions to you right now. Again, is Giannis the best player in the league, man?
Um, is he the best player in the league?
Is he the
I could
best player in the
say, I
NBA?
could say. Well, all right. I'll say this: Giannis has cemented himself as being one of the most premier big men. I would say that there's
Yeah,
nobody in the running for being a big man in the league, and he has definitely cemented himself
I mean, Embiid
as
might have something to say about that.
all right. But I seen Embiid crying instead of
Ooh,
he's crying from losing, not crying from winning or champagne in his eyes. So,
hey, I'm with you on that.
and truth be told, I think even Giannis has crowned himself as the best shit talker in the league too, with his press conference, because he let everybody know this is how you win a championship on your own, not teaming up in a small
Right.
market.
Yeah. I,
So
I mean, he did do it. He set out and achieved what he did. Remember, it was about what a couple of years ago, a few years ago. He was due for to either resign or hit the free agent market. He chose to stay in that small, boring market of the Milwaukee Bucks. But he made us all, watch his smoke, so to speak, and he got it done. He got it done in the way that he was supposed to. Obviously, he can't control injuries, but he did what he was supposed to do, just like what Toronto did when they played the Warriors. He did what you're supposed to do, and that's win. So he got his title, man.
that's it, man. He did what he had to do. He got it. He got in a small market. It's crazy
Mm-hmm.
to think about what this means. You know, you got Milwaukee, and you know what? Also, a lot of Knicks land that's going out there because I see an interesting headline is that this Milwaukee championship is 50 years in the making.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they haven't won since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was there, man. Since
So
he hightailed it for the Lakers.
yeah, right. Oh, sounds like something that Chris Paul should do.
Funny
Hot
you
tail
mention
for
that,
the
man.
Lakers.
That's actually right in line with the next question, man. I'm gonna put that up on there. Should Chris Paul, should CP3 stay in Phoenix or join the LA Lakers, man? I pitched that question to you, brother. What do you think?
I would say that he needs. It's imperative for him to run, not walk, run to the purple and gold. Because
Run to the purple and go. Oh, put.
if he don't, like you
I mean,
said, man, just pull up one. Matter of fact, whatever seat that they had for Dwayne Wade, just take Dwayne Wade's name off, put
oh
CP3.
man, they might be calling Dwayne Wade out of retirement too. There's the rumors are out about the banana boat all being available to get together. Dwayne could come out of retirement. He probably just took the year off so he could
True, true.
do
To
his
heal
thing.
up
We
and
see
stuff like
LeBron took this postseason off so he could go film Space Jam and do what he do and promote his movie.
that. That's
Um,
it. You know what I mean?
and Carmelo obviously was on a 1 year contract. He's available this year.
True,
At
but
least maybe 3 out of the 4. Chris Paul can opt out and make his way to the purple and gold. But I actually, I don't mean to cut you, but I'm gonna give
uh-huh.
you my take. I actually think he should stay in Phoenix and they should try to rework that lineup. Monty Williams seems to get the most out of Chris Paul, and Frank Vogel is not really a great point guard coach. He's really a big man coach. So I don't think Chris Paul would get utilized in the best situation. I know we've seen Rondo do what he do, but Rondo is the kind of guy. When he was on the Lakers, he's the kind of guy who doesn't really necessarily follow the coach's lead anyway. So that's why we saw Rondo be able to be Rondo on the Lakers. But I think the best for Chris Paul is to stay with Phoenix, try to rework that lineup, put another 3 more years on the books for you and getting paid and take your chances.
I would say, take your ass to the Lakers because at least LeBron is not gonna have another season like he's had in these previous two. I really feel like LeBron needed, with the beating that his body's taking, he needed a season or two off. This guy,
Valid. That's valid.
he needed
He
that.
made what he made 6 or 7 straight finals at one point.
It's like, come on, like
Yeah.
really, he's been playing a lot of basketball, let alone the programs, let alone the this, that, and third. And he
Yeah.
needed to take a break.
Well,
LeBron
well,
needed a break. Now,
yeah.
if you get that much firepower, because we got to be real, Carmelo isn't what he once was, but he ain't no
Mhm.
scrub.
No, not at all. He
He
belongs in
ain't
the
what
league.
he
Yeah.
was, but together, those guys, they're not scrubs. I mean, if CP gets injured in another finals, could you imagine? It doesn't really matter if CP gets there, gets injured or not in the finals, because you got LeBron backing him up, you got D Wade backing him up, you got Carmelo, you got AD, you got all of this whole, you got too much firepower. LeBron
Well,
had nobody else. This is the other problem. LeBron had nobody else that could make an impact on that Lakers team. Uh, Truth be
here's my
told,
thing.
none of
I
those people. Yeah, yeah,
no, go ahead.
but
No, go ahead.
none of those people are Dwayne Wade, Melo, and such. But go on ahead.
Yeah, Dwayne Wade, Chris Paul, Anthony Davis, and LeBron over the last 2 seasons. I'm only gonna count the last 2 seasons. What do they all have in common? They're all injury
They're
prone at
all
this
injury
point.
prone in their
You know what
their
I'm
younger
saying?
age.
They're all injury prone outside of Anthony Davis, who's still in his prime. But nevertheless, him included, they're all injury prone. Why would if you form that Voltron, can that Voltron even get it all the way to the finals? Play that
Yes, they
much
can.
basketball together?
Yes, they
I
can.
mean, with those injuries,
Yes, they can. Yes, they can.
where's the
They just
influx
hope
of
that they
youth?
don't. Only thing is, you hope that they don't face Brooklyn.
Another injury prone team, but the only difference is they're still in their prime.
The, run this series back. Let's just say you run this series back,
Mm.
and instead of Phoenix, you put that Lakers team together versus Giannis. They're not pulling this
I
series
mean,
out.
Giannis is guaranteed to make it again. Oh, you saying this series back?
That's it. Run this series back. Swap the Phoenix Suns for that
For
Lakers
the
team.
Lakers?
The Lakers with Carmelo and the full gamut. The
I
banana
mean,
boat. Run this series back with the banana boat Lakers. They not pulling this up.
it goes 7. I say that. That I'll give you this. That's
With
a toss up.
LeBron,
You know why I say that's a toss up? Because they can bang in the paint too. But it
Okay.
depends on which Lakers team we saw. Are we talking about the Lakers that won the championship,
We're
who
talking
banged on the
about
inside with Dwight Howard and those boys?
LeBron.
Or
Ooh,
are
we're
we
talking
talking about the
about
Lakers this season who
we're,
had Marc Gasol, bro?
we're
I mean,
talking no, we're talking about banana boat Lakers.
yeah,
CP, we're talking CP. We're talking Carmelo, possibly, maybe or may not D Wade, LeBron,
I
and
mean on paper,
we
I
fill we
look
fill in we fill in whoever's left,
right with
right?
Anthony Davis,
Oh,
the
and so you got all of those guys with Anthony Davis, and then we fill in who else?
yeah,
Let's just say Schroeder's coming off the bench.
that would be great. That would be great.
Now they're not winning the series; they're taking the series.
That'd be great. I don't
That
know how. I mean, yeah, and Struder and
and
Chris
that's
Paul played
literally
together, but
that's the only reason to me. That's the
Struder's
only
not
thing.
coming back this season to the Lakers.
Schroeder's not coming
He's
back. He's
looking to
gonna
get
get a
hurt.
better offer somewhere else.
Right.
Where he can
Probably
premiere.
maybe
But
with
I'm
Nate.
just saying that's why I said the Banana Boat Lakers would be good unless they meet Brooklyn in the finals. Bro, to me, that team is the only team that I could see really
Yeah.
stopping them.
Matchup wise, I see what you're saying. Matchup wise, yeah.
No,
And I know why you say except Brooklyn because Brooklyn could play the outside game better. You know, they can
and
keep the
Brooklyn
ball,
Brooklyn is
better
coming
fast
back.
break team.
Brooklyn is coming back next season healthy. We're not gonna like this season. I was happy to see Brooklyn lose. I was happy to see Brooklyn lose because I didn't like
For
that Knicks
personal reasons.
slander. I ain't like that Knicks slander. But we gotta be real. That's not gonna happen next season. Brooklyn will be there and they will be contending.
Right.
So yeah, unless he goes to the Lakers and that Lakers team somehow meets Brooklyn in the finals,
Mm-hmm.
if he goes to the Lakers and they create Voltron, I don't see why they shouldn't be able to clean up. If the East unfolds the same way that it should,
I
it's
mean, I'll
not
be
gonna
honest with you.
unfold the
On
same
paper, that sounds great, man.
way.
On paper, that sounds great. I think he should stay with Phoenix and try to rework that roster. You know, go fly under the radar like you did this season, and well, they'll be watching you now.
If he
But
goes back to Phoenix, they're not making it out of the first round.
or then let me go into the next question. Then let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put the question up there. What else can the Suns do to improve their roster?
Learn and grow. They could learn and grow. They made it far with a young team. DeAndre
Okay.
Ayton still needs time to grow.
Yeah.
Miles Bridges still needs time to grow.
Yeah.
Devin Booker still needs time to grow.
Right.
These guys are young.
Yeah. They overachieved. Would you agree?
They super
Okay.
overachieved.
They overachieved. Mm-hmm.
They overachieved like the Knicks overachieved. The Knicks,
Yeah.
I didn't see the Knicks making the playoffs. I just seen the
And,
Knicks being competitive. They made
yeah.
the playoffs, got eliminated in the first, but I didn't even expect them. Even then,
Yeah.
nah,
Nobody
actually,
expected
I
that
ain't
from
gonna
the
lie.
Grizzlies.
Against Atlanta, I expected them to beat Atlanta, but I didn't know that Atlanta was coming for blood, because Atlanta went the distance, so they
Yeah.
came for blood. I'll put nothing past them.
Another
But
team, young team that overachieved.
another young team that overachieved.
And,
Yeah.
and what we can say about all three of those teams, the Phoenix Suns, right, a young team, the New York Knicks, a young team, and the Atlanta Hawks, a young team, was all three of them, to me, in my opinion, were well coached. The Knicks were well
Yes.
coached on defense. They
Yes.
just didn't have any offensive power. The Atlanta was a well coached offensive team. Not really, not too many turnovers, but a nice offensive firepower team. And the Phoenix Suns are overall team who can give you some good defense and some good scoring, especially with a guy like Devin Booker. Yeah, just well coached teams.
Yeah, and then
that
I
that
got a
overachieved this
question.
year.
Yeah, and
But yeah,
I got a question. Like a lot of these overachiever teams, yes, they were well coached. Given what happens, may or may not happen in free agency, and as we get closer and closer to some sort of normalcy,
mm-hmm.
once again, does this availability for these low talent or medium talented teams and these small markets, does the window stay open for them to actually have a fighting chance of making it deep into the playoffs, or do we go back to the same formula of big market,
Super teams
big
and
big talent, deep run
you
into the
you you
playoffs?
you raise a good question. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know because it seems like the NBA is giving the fans what they wanted. Like you got to understand,
What we gonna see?
a 50
Yeah,
year, see,
it's a year drought. Yeah,
it's different fans, and then you got to think about it. A lot of fan base in big markets have up and moved because of the pandemic, up and moved to some of these small markets.
that's very true. That's very
So
actually. I don't mean to cut your wisdom. We've seen this in the NFL too. We
yeah,
saw the Kansas City Chiefs win. Even though they have a all time, seemingly an all time great in the making,
Patrick,
um, yeah, with Patrick Mahomes quarterback, and then we just seen the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat that team
and
with the all time greatest quarterback. So
exactly
another two
Brady.
small markets, man.
And he left the big market. See, like, well, no,
Yep.
New
Yes,
England
that's a
is a
big
big
market.
market
The
because
Boston, yeah,
that encompasses the whole east
yeah, Boston.
east.
Boston's a big market. Yeah, yeah, New
So,
England, that's a big market.
so now he uprooted and went to the Buccaneers.
Right. Nobody saw that coming.
Nobody seen that coming.
Everybody thought Denver, which is a medium to large market. Oh, yeah, good point. That's a good point.
So
But yeah, back
now,
to the NBA. Yeah, do these small
and when
markets.
we get back to the NBA and most of sports, I'm starting to believe that yo, we can go on a cycle of having a big market team win every 5 years and start including these small market teams because you have to give these small markets something to, I don't want to say live for, like they're
Right,
suicidal, but we're gonna see, I feel like we're gonna see more and more boring finals
right.
from these small cities because
Yeah, we're gonna see
one,
Utah Jazz and
and you can see they're pushing Utah.
yeah,
Like they're pushing them. They're pushing the Clevelands they pushed Cleveland while LeBron was there.
Cleveland won with LeBron. Yeah, uh huh.
They're pushing for these small markets. If the Sacramento Kings, keep snatching, or the Pelicans, if the Pelicans keep snatching the picks away from the Knicks, Jesus Christ, we'll never get anything. New York was been a losing team. One of the most profitable teams in the NBA has been your biggest loser. Look at what New York's done for ticket sales and just making it to the first round. Just being competitive.
Yeah, just being competitive.
Totally like
They were bad. They were bad for so long that the Nets were able to move to Brooklyn on them. Come to
exactly
their own state.
come to their own state. And then when they got to some type of prevalence or they, it's just like look at it. Oh, boom. Instantly. Fan base on fire.
Yeah. Oh yeah, New
Right?
York was on
But
fire.
we missed out on every draft and we
Yeah,
missed
we
out on
just came
every
close to
draft
getting.
pick.
Yeah,
Every
every
first
yeah.
round, first pick, we've missed out on that
Ever since Steph Curry, we kept missing.
just to prop up small market teams.
Yeah.
So they're telling you, look, we want to include some of these small markets and make it interesting. You know what I mean? We're tired of we don't want no more Washington Bullets no more. Like we don't want no more teams that are just there that never get close
Right,
to
right. So
anything.
so the window's open for possibly a Portland team. The window's open for possibly a Utah team. The window's open possibly for a Denver team. It's a middle market, to
Well,
possibly
at least to make it
to make
interesting
it to
and
the
spicy.
right.
Yes.
I
To
got
add
you,
a bit
brother.
of drama to those franchises, sure.
Right.
Are they ever gonna really make it to the chip? I don't know. All right,
I
because there's
honestly
only
think
so much that you
two of
want
those
to do.
teams are close, are pieces away from at least making it to the final. To me, that's Portland is
Portland's not a
pieces
piece.
away.
I don't know.
Pieces
Yeah,
away. I'm gonna
pieces
break
away.
that down. I think Portland's a piece away. And I actually think
But you think Portland's one piece away from making the finals?
I think they're one piece away. One piece away.
Okay.
One piece away.
I would say I want to lean more on 2 pieces away, but I can see 1 piece.
One piece
I
away.
can see 1 piece away.
And then I think Denver is actually one piece away.
That Denver is definitely one piece away. Portland, I would say 2.
Okay, fair enough.
And the same thing for Utah. I think Utah is a piece away.
Utah is Utah of the freaking 90s. Just a good team that I don't think is ever gonna. They're the West representation of the Indiana Pacers. Every year they'll make the playoffs and they'll go nowhere, bro. I'm sorry.
But they were number 1 in the West.
And yeah, what did they do?
They fell apart. But I'm saying that's why I'm thinking that it's.
Didn't they get beat in the first round? Wait, what happened to them this year?
I don't even really remember.
Who did they play?
That's a good question because I don't know what happened.
Yeah, we ain't watching it analyzing enough. We ain't watching it analyzing.
Oh, they lost to the Clippers
in the first round. Exactly.
Well, it was the Clippers. It was Kawhi and.
But they were the number 1 seed. Phoenix was the number 2 seed and beat the Lakers.
But it was Kawhi and PG, and they did beat the Lakers.
Yeah, two superstars, or if you want to call Paul George a superstar, I tend to think he is. But yeah, two tandem teams beat
with Doc Rivers.
Donovan Mitchell.
No, Doc Rivers not the coach anymore. My fault.
No.
Tyronn Lue is
Tyronn Lue.
That he ain't no. Again, that's a championship pedigree.
Okay, he has championship pedigree. Versus we know he won his ring with LeBron, though.
True, but
it's like saying Frank Vogel's a great coach.
I mean, he got but he also got stepped over by AI.
Exactly.
And
that's why he had to.
They won that championship, by the way.
They did. He got
he got championship.
I gotta take that back. He got championship pedigree.
He got championship.
And he's well respected in the league. I actually do like him more than Doc Rivers, but I ain't gonna go into
that. Yeah. So these guys, yeah, man. I understand, but I think Utah is on an upswing. Yeah. I think that they're a piece away from getting it right. I think they're a piece away. Maybe they tried to move Rudy Gobert. Even though Rudy Gobert is one of their pieces, I think that you could do better. And especially for chemistry, I think that you probably do a move for Rudy Gobert and try to get somebody else in there. But
I'm gonna throw a long shot. I haven't looked at their contract yet, but we're gonna talk free agency as well here on Watch Sports. We'll get into that. I would call up Philadelphia, right? And I know everybody's talking about Ben Simmons. I would actually call up Philadelphia and go get Embiid and trade Gobert for Embiid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That way you could pair him up. Right. You could pair Embiid up with Donovan Mitchell. That's a nice little team right there. You know what I'm saying?
Or what do you think about maybe as a backup? I'm pretty sure his stock has fallen a little bit by now. But let's just say even coming off the bench, a Porzingis on Utah.
On Utah?
Mm-hmm.
On paper, I recognize paper champs when I see him. I'm sorry. That doesn't move me. Porzingis
don't move.
Porzingis made the Knicks look like some of the greatest executives by them actually moving him.
Yeah, that's a fact. No, actually, it was a great move.
It was a great move for them to get off
those moves that you hated. It was one of those moves because that was like our first top
4. They picked him 4th. Yep.
And we were like,
how do you? And he played like he had a lot of upside, which hasn't fulfilled out now since,
And truth be told, as much junk as niggas talk about Phil Jackson, at least he's seen it. He said, "Nah, them knees ain't gonna hold up." He like Sean Bradley.
And they traded him to the Mavericks, which Sean Bradley played. So
that's a fact. So he foreshadowed
that. I'd rather stick with Rudy Gobert. If you're talking about moving him, or you talking about just trading for him.
See, because there's no real package deal that they could give the Mavericks. for Gobert. I don't really see them wanting anybody off of that team.
I mean,
Like,
that's a solid move. Again, we haven't looked at the numbers to say if that could be a even swap. I could see how that works for the Mavericks. I'm trying to see how that works for Phoenix. For the Jazz.
for the Jazz, that's what I'm saying. I don't know who else is on Mavericks that they would really need or want.
Tim Hardaway Jr. His inconsistent ass.
Why when I got Donovan Mitchell?
I mean, on the night with Donovan Mitchell maybe not got it, sometimes Tim
Mike
Hardaway picks up the
Conley,
phone and dials his daddy's skill set, gets the scoring.
or what? If you were Utah, would you pursue Chris Paul?
Yes, yes, I would. Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, he's a great fit for that team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you could probably repeat what you just did with the Phoenix Suns because Utah has a team.
Yeah,
They got a center. They got a defensive rim protecting who can grab rebound center. They got a better Ayton and Rudy Gobert, right?
Yeah.
They have a guy who could go off like Booker did and Donovan Mitchell.
Yep.
You got the 6-man and Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench. You got a 6-man runner up and Joe Ingles coming off the bench who can actually pass and shoot and bring energy off the bench like we've seen some of the guys off the bench for the Bucks did. Yes. The reason why I say no is because Chris Paul wants to get paid, and that's probably just too much money, to bring in Chris Paul. They did okay with Mike Conley. Mike Conley just never got in the rhythm and was always injured. Again, that's another problem with older players is, you never know what you're going to get in terms of injury. So Chris Paul would be, on paper, that's a great move.
Mm-hmm.
The way it plays out, I don't know.
All right. Would you make a play for? Because I'm trying to give some a giveaway for another small market team to become the talk of the town.
Mm-hmm.
Would you make a play for Ben Simmons if you're
Utah?
Yes.
They would have to give up at least Gobert.
You think?
You
think after that playoff, because you know what it is? Philadelphia media doesn't make it easy for you to be a GM. If you listen to them. If you listen to them.
They ran Elton Brand out of there, and
that's what I'm saying.
He loved that place.
If you listen to them, it don't make it easy. So what they're telling you right now is that their whole season was Ben Simmons' fault.
Was a failure of Ben Simmons, yeah.
So now they may be willing to do whatever to get rid of that bad publicity and bring in somebody new. You could get a little trade package for Mike Conley. I mean, nobody's gonna like that you brought Mike Conley in. But
he's a good piece. It's the health. Mike Conley can play. Mike Conley can shoot. Mike Conley has great. I mean, at one point he was being compared to Chris Paul.
All right, but does Mike Conley?
He robbed the Grizzlies of that money, though.
Does Mike Conley help Philly be any better than Ben Simmons?
To me, it's a lateral move. At best.
That's what I'm saying. But it's a lateral move that make you look better?
At best. I'd rather keep the superstar or the star and Ben Simmons then.
Does Philadelphia feel that way?
I don't think the fan base does.
That's what I'm saying.
I think the team does. Look, you always have value when you have a young player who's he's not even in his
injury, and he's not that injury prone.
Yeah, and he can play on the other side of the floor. I mean, that's valuable in the league. I think Ben Simmons, he gets a raw deal, but honestly, I think the worst thing is they overpaid Tobias Harris. I think that cost them a lot. They told where we could all agree, and I know in hindsight definitely that they should have really kept Jimmy Butler, really went after Jimmy Butler, but I don't think Mike Conley's the answer for them as well. I really think if I was Philly, I'm really big on this, and I might do another video on this, or we could touch on this. I would move off of Embiid and
You
keep
think it's
Simmons.
time to give it up?
He had an awesome MVP season. I don't think his value's ever gonna be as high as it is now. He out of those two are the injury prone one.
True.
Go and get your, and he's more desirable, right? Because he can play and he can shoot. Go and get some pieces for Embiid and bring that to Philly, and you got a point guard who can facilitate to everybody. I told you, Ben Simmons is a lot like Dwight Howard in his prime. You just got to build around him. And Dwight Howard in his prime made it to the finals, beat LeBron, and made it to the finals. So if you build around a guy like Ben Simmons, who they kept nothing but shooters around Dwight. Remember, nothing but shooters. You could just put some shooters around Ben Simmons. I think you could see a better team together. I think it's Embiid the one you got to move, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you got to
you
also
could
think
get a
about
star
it like this.
back for him.
You also got to think about it like this. Embiid, yes, Embiid was injury prone. Embiid did come back from those injuries and whatnot.
Play well. Mm-hmm.
But how long in this fast-paced up and down the floor game is a big man gonna hold up?
Right. It's the first season we've seen him healthy. I say healthy, I mean in condition.
Yeah, that's
he
true.
took better care of his body. It's the first time. Man, take that value you got of him. His value is high right now. Trade that, brother. Go and get some trade that for picks or another star. And go from there, man. Build around Embiid. Just bring in build around Simmons and bring in some shooters. I think JJ Redick is available again. You already got Seth Curry. You know what I mean? Danny Green is a D&3 guy. You got Tobias Harris who can shoot.
I don't think JJ Redick would go back to Philly. I think there's some animosity there. But
that's probably a good point. That's wishful thinking on mine.
I think there's some animosity with the way that they let him go.
Yeah.
Because I always
he played well for them though.
JJ Redick is always a good fantasy player.
Yes, he is. He's a good fit on many teams.
Yeah, he is. That's why I was hoping once upon a time the Knicks got him.
Yeah, but he would have been good. They can sure use his services now too. They need shooters.
Yeah, that's a fact.
They need shooters. So yeah.
But getting back to the small market thing, I really think that they're gonna push the small market. I just wonder that more when we get now that we're tapering off and back into normalcy after COVID, does this window stay open? Because I hate to. I mean, yeah, is the need from the NBA fan to see small markets win, or do they go back to all right? Small markets had a nice little run, but now it's time to let the big boys eat again because we're back to normalcy.
Yeah, I mean, let me ask you a question. I'm gonna go on the deep end, right? I'm gonna go a little bit out of bounds. When we had the financial crash, right? Back in 2008, 2009, who won the finals then?
Ooh,
2000. Was it a small market
team?
Wasn't
it Boston?
That was Boston. Boston was a big market. Okay.
No, Boston was in 2011.
Let me see if I can pull that up. Give me a second. I'm gonna pull it up.
But you also got to think about it. When you had the financial crash, when did most people start to feel it? So most people
definitely lost 2010. Well, it started 2007.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it really hit the news. Remember that election year? That was when Obama got elected, 2008. You know, and we felt the effects of it through 2009, 10. And 11. But let me see. Who was the 2008 NBA Finals? I'm looking that up. Yes, that was the Lakers who won. I mean, I'm sorry, that was Boston won.
Boston Celtics won.
That was in 2008.
And around that time, I would have considered Boston, even though it's Boston, I would have considered them a small market.
No, bro, that's not small.
I know
that's a big
Indian. I know technically it's not, but around that time, they sucked for a long time, and I ain't really used to see that much fans up in the stands for Boston.
2009 was the Lakers.
At that point, I think because they went against you know what? That is a big finals. That's a big finals. Celtics versus the Lakers is a big
Yeah,
final.
that's a big final.
That's a big finals. Although in my heart of hearts, because back then, like just before that was assembled, the Celtics used to be worse off than the Knicks in the standings. They would either fall number 6 in the East or out of the playoffs.
Okay.
So you know, me in my heart as a fan watching Boston sort of became a small market to me. Like, who are these guys? They were getting Indiana Pacer vibes back then. But yes, that is a big finals.
Wait,
But yes,
The Lakers won 2009 and 2010, right?
and then they repeated in
Yeah.
2011.
Yeah, they won in 2009, 2010, 2011. I guess I'm reaching here. Those are two big markets when
Yeah.
we had our last, really like economic meltdown. Oh, the Mavericks,
Oh, the Mavericks won in 2011.
a middle market.
So a middle market team. But that also goes to say it's like that was something different. Like, yes, you couldn't go to the game. You couldn't afford to go to the game, but it wasn't like you couldn't go to the game even if you had the money.
Right.
Because this is a pandemic. Pandemic's
Right. And
different.
different NBA, not to cut you.
Yeah, different NBA, different
We had super teams.
circumstances.
We had super teams.
You had
All
super
of those who won outside of the Mavericks were super teams. I mean, the Lakers had a super team. Boston had a super team, and the Heat had a super team. So yeah,
Yeah.
maybe they trend back to the super team then.
That's or maybe we swing back to the big markets. You know?
Yeah, maybe that's where we're headed. Back to the big market. Back to the big market. Hopefully that big market becomes New York. We know Brooklyn has a super team. Yeah. Is it safe to say Brooklyn is the only super team in the league right now?
Well, we'll see what.
Right now, as
Right
currently
now, yes,
constructed.
I would say yes, because the Lakers, the Lakers are sort of a super team, but yeah, nah, I can't
Yeah,
call. I can't call.
they're a tandem. They're just like the Clippers. They're a tandem.
Yeah, they're like a tandem.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's a tandem. That's a tandem. So hopefully, yeah. Right now, Brooklyn is the only super team. Uh, Potentially, then we have to count Brooklyn as the favorite again. They were counted as a favorite this year, and unfortunately, injuries kind of took them out. So
Yeah.
yeah. But speaking of that, let's go out of bounds again, my man. Let's see what's a good out of bounds question. Here we go. This is somewhat out of bounds, but a little bit tied to the conversation. So again, the Milwaukee Bucks just won the NBA Finals. What do you, and you're the perfect person to ask this because you are Money Matt. Money Matt, what do you think happens to the real estate in Milwaukee?
Ooh, I would
Mm-hmm.
say, well,
Milwaukee, a real
Milwaukee
estate
needed
destination now.
Milwaukee. We can't forget that Milwaukee does need rebuilding because there were
Okay, yep.
a significant amount of riots there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there was.
Milwaukee did need healing because after George Floyd and
Well, George Floyd was in Minnesota,
but after George
but it was
Floyd,
somebody else who got.
after
I'm
George
sorry, I'm bad.
Floyd, there was a lot of
There was
activity
someone else
in
who got killed.
Milwaukee.
Yeah,
There was
yes,
a lot of protests in Milwaukee. Didn't one of the Milwaukee Bucks
yes, yes.
players get apprehended by police? So and then I think Giannis was one of the biggest contributors to
Right.
like Black Lives Matter.
Yep.
So Milwaukee needed some healing, um, and they got it. And I would say it does pretty good for making Milwaukee a higher end small market destination for people to.
Ooh. So the real estate will benefit from the Milwaukee Bucks winning the NBA Finals.
Yes,
All
yes,
right, you
I
hear?
believe so because it's not gonna be huge, but at least now That's another job market that's opening up.
Really?
A championship job market.
I mean, doesn't it get cold up there, man?
It gets cold in New York.
Well, I mean, New York got the ports, man. New York,
Yeah,
that's a different
but
beast.
no, I'm just saying it moves them up as far as small markets go. We're not gonna say like this totally boosts Milwaukee's real estate into the millions, and no, but does it make them a destination if you're looking for someone? Yeah, because now you at least have a sports team that has won in recent times.
Okay, like we seen
Um,
what happened with Cleveland. We've seen that. We've seen Cleveland real estate be affected when
you know,
LeBron
really,
just
it
came back
depends
to
on
life.
your work. Depending on your work, you can really live anywhere.
Yep.
Um, so I would assume Milwaukee's real estate prices are relatively middle of the road. A championship win, plus you got the Brewers. Um,
And
you have other sports franchises there, but a
yeah, they're all boring,
championship,
like the
like,
Brewers.
yeah, but a championship in that city really helps bolsters there's more marketability.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
So,
we're gonna start seeing commercials that say "Visit Milwaukee."
absolutely, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised you
I
start
know.
seeing.
I definitely want to see what that little ticket take parade look like out there.
Yeah, that joint probably like a half a block, and you on the other side of town.
Or like one of them places where they play, "Oh, when the Saints come marching in."
Shoot,
Oh
yeah, I
man.
mean, yeah.
Yeah. So the real estate can stand a bit. Are we signaling for the flippers to get out there? We flipping any properties out there, Money Matt?
Milwaukee
Yeah,
is
man.
always a good market out there.
Man, I know
Um,
you gonna be searching the real estate, man.
yeah, man. We could give Milwaukee a little peek. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And the thing is, the thing that Milwaukee has going for it is that it's boring, and
Right.
boring isn't that bad in real estate. It's just not good for the finals.
Word, man. That's a fact. Yeah. So, man, all right, cool. Well, then Milwaukee real estate, you benefited the most from the Bucks winning the NBA Finals.
That's it.
Hey, take it how you can get it. Congratulations to all you flippers and investors out there. I guess that's a great thing for you guys. But yeah, I'm gonna close it out on that, man. Anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to say? Definitely follow us on WA Sports. Anything you want to chime in there with, brother?
Only thing I would like to chime in on is to the fans. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this. Okay? Share this. Like, comment, subscribe. You liking
Yeah,
us so that you can move us higher up the algorithm. You're subscribing because who else but WA Sports can deliver it to you like this?
right.
You're commenting to let your voice be heard, and you're
Yeah,
sharing it because why not? Share it.
that's a
Help
fact.
build our audience, and what I mean, we're gonna keep bringing you this good content.
That's
My
it,
man,
man.
my man Rick will stay on top of that, man.
That's it. That's it, man. You know it. You know it. You know, and of course, you got two of the best looking guys in all the sports YouTube. So,
I
who
mean,
doesn't want to see more of that? You know what I mean? But that's our time. I'm your guy, Rick. That's my guy, Matt, my brother from another. This has been a great take on the wrapping up of the NBA Finals, which is what we call the boring. Ended in six, a little boring finals that we had there. We're definitely going to touch on the next boring thing, which would be the NBA draft. Nobody cares about that. Also, we're going to do more free agency talk, and we're going to start pivoting into the NFL. Uh, Side note, Beck happens to be a Cowboys fan. I'm your resident New York Giants fan. Every year, I believe the Giants is going to the Super Bowl. So ain't nobody stopping us with Saquon Barkley, bro. He's coming back healthy this year.
Except for the Cowboys, like we did last season. But
Yeah. Y'all enjoy Dak Prescott. Every year, y'all trade him. Every year, it looks like he's getting traded. He got all those weapons, and he never goes nowhere. So who's worried about them?
look, and another thing, I got to thank God because I ain't lay no money on Phoenix.
Cause you're Money Matt, man. Money Matt would never do such a thing. Money Matt knows how to call these games, bro. That's you, man. Smart move.
That's it.
Smart move. All right, man. So definitely we'll catch up on the next one, man.
All right. Look
All
forward
right,
to
bro.
it. Peace.
All right.